Three of us. All right, family. Hold on a second. All right. We got 8 folk. We got 10.
It's 3 of us.
Please, let's do a mic check while we wait for, I guess, 2 more so that she can know for certain that we're at that 10 mark. So please, whoever is on, give us a mic, a confirmation on the mic check. Please, please, please. 12.
We got Sister Liz one.
We got Sister Cheryl.
Oh no, I think Cheryl.
Thumbs up. Someone please give us a thumbs up. All right, Brother Kenneth, we can always count on you for the thumbs up. We appreciate you. All right. Greetings, peace, and blessings. We are the Mohammeds, the residential tourists, 85 to Africa here in the after, right here in Nairobi, Kenya, the beautiful Nairobi, Kenya. And we are grateful and thankful, as always, for your tuning in and just taking
the. Liz said it's low volume.
It's low volume?
Yeah.
Is that us?
Is that better, Liz?
Let us know if it's better. Sounds good. All right, Sister Cheryl. All right. Okay. So thank you for taking time out of your morning for those who are on the other side, and for you in your evening for those who are on this side. We are grateful. We appreciate you and your viewership, and we're thankful for your subscription and your membership as well. For our new subscribers, thank you for joining the RT family. We appreciate you. We look forward to your comments and your feedback and all of that good stuff there. So, all right, let's give some shout outs. How about that?
Yeah, we got Kenneth Frederick, Alex Wachira, Sister Muhammad loving the hairstyle. Thank you.
What about my hairstyle?
Ev or Eve. They're calling from Tanzania.
Oh, Tanzania. All right.
A one day. Salama everyone.
Salam.
Gerald Tabu, Nairobi, the city in the sun.
Okay, it is sunny out today too.
It's beautiful.
It didn't start that way though.
Roland Hayes. Hello, good people. We'll be visiting Nairobi end of the year.
Okay.
Looking
Inshallah.
forward to looking at business opportunities and finding where we can add value. That's the right attitude.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful.
If I have one question, how do I make a change from Tanzania to Kenya and make it convincing to hubby? Email me at dealersrelocationservices@gmail.com. We'll work out a plan.
Do we see? Oh, we got okay. Sister Liz, we shout out Sister Liz and Sister Cheryl. Okay.
James Muneen, good evening, Mohammeds. How do you find the weather in Nairobi? Beautiful.
It's good. It's really it's a good balance. I would say that.
That's right. Sister Cheryl said, please hit the like button.
All right, let me start it off that way. Please, as Sister Cheryl said, please go ahead while you're at it. Go ahead and hit the like button. And we would greatly appreciate that very, very much.
And Easy York.
Easy York in the place. Good to see you, Easy York.
All right, so.
All right.
This week has been different.
Hold on, wait a second.
What are we doing?
Wait a second. All right, so before we get into the meat of things, we like to always, of course, be able to share anything of announcements, anything of news, and any recap of our experience as we are here in Nairobi. We're still pretty fresh in Nairobi, so we're anticipating and excited to be able to explore. However, since we've been in a short period of time, we definitely have been having some interesting experience. All right.
Oh, they said the hour went back or went forward.
All right, let's give up some latest news. I know you're eager to share some of the latest news. That's what you about to get into? Okay, all right. All right. So the latest news as a continuum is March 24th.
Hmm.
Definitely March 24th. We are excited about it, and we are very much looking forward to being able to. Let me remove this out the way so you guys can really, really see it. Give me a second. Nonetheless, we are excited about as we're preparing, things are coming along. You can talk a little bit more about it than I can.
Yeah, we are about halfway booked. So we still have about a good maybe 30 tickets left for available slots left for the event. But it's starting to pick up, which I'm very happy about because I was getting nervous, like, okay.
Hmm.
Um, so it is starting to pick up. Even today, where I went to an event, was out sharing the information because not everybody watch YouTube, and there's a lot of expats here, and not just a lot of expats. There's a lot of expats doing big things.
Hmm.
I mean, I met millionaires today.
See, you didn't tell me that part.
Yeah.
She was holding out, people.
No, I told you that was gonna be part of my recap on what I just got in the door. We went to a birthday party today at the vegetarian soul food restaurant. I, what's his name?
Um,
Ami.
yeah, I think
I believe he owns it.
something like that.
He's an expat from the Caribbeans and through New York,
Mm.
via New York way, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong, but he is an expat. It's one of the frequent spots that expats go to. Like it's exactly like the vegetarian soul food in the States in Atlanta
It's like so veg.
is exactly like Soul Veg. It's
Wow.
vegan. It's vegan, so y'all know I'm hungry. Y'all know I'm hungry. They could at least slide a little piece of chicken to the left for the non-vegan eaters.
No cheating.
You know, the vegans eat those little fake barbecue strips that they make out of the wheat whey
Tofu.
and all the sauce, and I'm like, y'all not about to make me angry. But yeah, so were expats that have been here for a long time, whether they've been in and out of the country. And what's amazing is a lot of these expats are like they're silent. You don't even know that they're here making things happen. The one gentleman, and I'm hoping I was trying to wait it out so I can get his information so we could get him on the channel. But this brother been in pretty much all African countries with the presidents of that country. He brought his I know, Maddie, you hungry.
See, I am hungry.
He brought his pictures with president with Bill Clinton and president in Ghana and the president in Zambia and the president here. And he's an advisor to many of these presidents. This man is major.
Mm.
He owns radio stations in Texas. And a Texan in a he what you call it? The Texas, whatever, is a brother. And he's here. I'm going to get him. I was trying to wait, but the people were lined up trying to get to him.
Mm.
And I, I'm not Hakuna Matata yet. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll see you again. But
Inshallah.
a lot of you guys ask about the senior community, and I didn't know how many seniors there was yet. For one, once you get to the soil, it seems like Africa reverses your looks. I was looking like that. I used to look like this when I was a teenager in the face. It reverses your looks, it seemed like. It's the sun, it's the lack of hormones in your food.
Hmm.
So once that comes out of your body, your skin and everything start to change. So I didn't know that these were seniors because
You look good, I guess.
they look good. And so they had this one moment where they wanted, because it was Queen Mother's birthday. Now we will have her on the channel very soon. I got
Happy
her
birthday, Queen
information.
Mother.
I think she's turning 73 today.
Mm.
And she's not just a retiree here in Kenya. Her foundations, she has foundations in Ghana where she has a whole village where she's actually have a house there. And in the Volta region, I believe it was flooded.
Mm.
And so they were raising money for her birthday to help the region, that her area, to pretty much rebuild. So
Mm.
we definitely want to have her on the channel talking
Absolutely.
about what she's doing. But besides that, the people that were standing up talking about her, they've met her from the States. These people were following her. Like, this is how amazing this woman is.
Mm.
She was a professor.
Mm.
So a lot of the Kenyans that were there were her students many, many years ago. One was a doctor or something,
Wow.
something. Um, and they all came to honor her today for her birthday.
Wow.
Like, I want her to come on so we can hear more in depth of her story, what she's been through. She continues to pave the way for not just Black Americans, but she just loved Black people, period.
Mm.
And it's this energy all around her. So when they all stood up, because they said everyone that's 70 and above stand up, I was like, what?
Mm.
And it kind of broke me down because for some reason I turned to my left to look to see if my mom stood up,
Mm.
and she wasn't there.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh wow, because my mom wouldn't have stood up, and I was about to get up, mom.
Mm.
I was about to say this to her,
Mm.
and she wasn't there, and that kind of messed me up so bad. I haven't had a breakdown in so long, but this looking for her, they were over there, with Queen Mother dancing and singing happy birthday and doing the well, I forgot what dance it was.
The
Um,
slide.
no, I forgot what dance it
Everybody
was.
do the slide.
But his mom was there, and she was. Anytime she gets to dance, she's up.
On groove.
Yeah, well, not. I got video of it. We're gonna put it together so you guys can see. Y'all wanted to know how the seniors live over here in Kenya. They live good.
I'm gonna find. Well, it's interesting. I don't know. It seemed, and this is just my own, I guess, observation, but it just seems like more seniors travel than non-seniors.
Seniors are fearless. They got nothing to lose, and there's things they wanted to do in life, and they ain't letting nobody hold them
Yeah,
back.
it's like when we were in Rwanda. I mean, it was the same. It was a large.
Majority senior
Yeah,
solo travelers.
right, exactly.
They don't care nothing about these little fears that we put up. Seniors gonna go. They got their monthly check. Ain't nothing stopping them.
He's like, I got the loot.
Ain't nothing
I'm
stopping them.
good. I'm
We
good.
we met what was it, Carlos or whatever, one of the subscribers this week.
Beautiful brother.
We've been meeting so many of you guys.
I'm telling you, it's just been a joy. It's truly been a
We're
joy.
gonna put the pictures up.
Yeah, it's to meet diasporas who have been here,
Even the
who are
locals, that's what really
locals as
blows
well.
me
That's
away. Be the
true.
locals be
Who
like,
are
I
actual
watch you.
subscribers, who are actual subscribers, different walks of life, and it's really, it's very humbling. It truly is very, very humbling. Yet it's a joy to be able to put faces to some names, or just faces that we had no clue of who's actually subscribing and watching and viewing and lending an ear to what it is that we have to say.
Hmm.
So when we experience those moments, we're so grateful. We're really, really, really grateful. So we've met some folk, and we're gonna carry on. We're gonna carry on, and I'm sure we're gonna meet some other folk, hopefully.
Well,
And
well, Maddie Gilroy says she's 75 and a half, and they haven't seen any seniors here. And you need to be there on the 24th. I haven't seen your name go past
yeah, come on the
the
24th,
registration for the
so we can
24th.
all fellowship together and
Yeah,
share the same
there's a
space.
couple seniors that we know will be there, including his mama. She's 73,
3, 4, 4. She's
74.
74.
Yeah,
Mom's a 74.
yeah,
God bless her. We're grateful. You know,
yeah. She said, "What's the name of that place?" And one day it was
Rwanda.
the Vegetarian Soul Restaurant. Um,
Is it vegetarian soul or soul vegetarian?
Soul Vegetarian Restaurant.
Soul vegetarian. You know what area? Do you remember what area it's in?
Yeah, it's in Westlands.
Westlands.
Um, oh, she's in Dar es Salaam. Well, you retiree. You can hop on that plane.
She's trying to
It'll
get you
take
over
you
here,
one
Miss Maddie.
hour to get here, Miss Maddie. Let me know if you need an Airbnb. We got some connections. Just come for the weekend.
We'll look out for you if you do. But we
Yeah,
understand.
just come
We
on in.
understand if
We
you
got
do.
another retiree that's coming on the 24th. No, they come on the 23rd as well. She's newly retired. They're coming in to scout, but they're coming in for this event. His mama will be here. There's a couple well, they're young retirees, but they're coming. Listen, you need to be over here at this event. You really need to be in Kenya, period. But come over to this event for the retirees because it's about expats and building relationships and building. Why? This is my grandchild calling. And building a foundation so that we can connect with one another instead of having us out here on the island by ourselves. So that's what I got out of this event today.
Mm,
It was fulfilling.
mm.
Um, and the thing is, the majority of those people there, I want to say 50-50 was locals and expats. And that says a lot. That says a lot.
Does.
Not just that she's here, but she's actually, everyone that spoke about her talked about how she's made a difference in their life.
Mm,
So when we're reading and saying that you want to um, see how you can add value, this woman is adding value to people's lives, like making differences, making things happen for the better, and embracing the culture, but being that vessel to make things happen for the better. And that's what I learned today from her and all the team that she had with her. She was
mm.
very humble with these really soft, gentle eyes. And we could tell that her life has meaning.
That's
Her life
good.
has meaning. And it was great. It was
That's
good.
beautiful. I'm glad you had that experience. I didn't make it. Unfortunately, I had tend to some business. Nonetheless, what better representative than my most beautiful and wonderful wife? And I'm glad you were able to experience that and share that with us and give us that lovely report. So now, for those of us, along with the latest news, we'll get through this and then we'll move forward into the meat of it. It is for most of us, or some of us, I can't say most of us, but many of us, whether subscribers or not, this is a very special time of year for those of the Islamic faith, we being one of them. So Ramadan is coming upon us, and I'd like to just take a moment to just acknowledge, and just extend a Ramadan Mubarak. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be wonderful. Uh, we always, I speak for myself, always look forward to Ramadan. And for me, Ramadan is like the new year, really in truth, because it's an opportunity to reset, to really focus and zero in on trying to continue to have a fruitful life, a better life spiritually and mentally and even physically, not just for oneself, but for your fellow man. And so it's a very special time. It is a time that for us and all of humanity, where divine revelation was given in this particular month to give us guidance so that we could have that self improvement, so that we can be an ummah, a community of 196,940,000 square miles of all people. So, for those who are Muslim and who are enjoying and looking forward to Ramadan, Ramadan Mubarak, we pray that your Ramadan is definitely one that is a successful one, and that you receive the mercy and the forgiveness and the assurance and the promise of the hereafter uh, as we continue on this journey called life. All right, there you have it. That's the latest news. Anything else?
No.
All right. We met some really, like we said, we met some really cool. We met some. We met. I don't think should we wait to share that when we met yesterday?
Who?
Let's wait. We'll wait.
Oh yeah, you didn't put any of that in
No,
there.
I'm gonna wait. We're gonna wait. We're gonna
Okay.
wait. But it's okay. So, for some of you may have seen already, we're gonna move right along. Some of you may have already seen our intimate conversation that we had and posted earlier in the week. Well, not really so early. It was actually later than we anticipated, but we posted it earlier in the week. And in this particular intimate conversation, it was really one of those discussions that just kind of just came about, right, based on some opposite. We've observed this. We've been observing this for some time, but it just it just struck us a little differently based on a very recent um, experience that we had on an outing, and it just sparked something different. And so we had this conversation, and as we were having this conversation, as it relates to traditional values, as it relates to cultural uh, customs and differences, it really opened up a whole world for us in looking into. We got some really good discoveries, and we thought, okay, well, let's broaden it a little bit. Let's talk a little more, because one of the key discoveries that we both came upon was when we reflect, her and I, and most diasporas from our generation and probably backwards, in a particular upbringing, there's some similarities, and there's some low tolerance for certain things as it relates to raising and rearing, right? And when we looked and we peeled back and peeled back, we wondered, like, okay, so are we wrong? I mean, is our way, you know, a very inhibiting way for our children, or were we inhibited and are being raised and reared in not having certain free expressions, and always told to, mind yourself in the company of certain people, or having to. So anyway, all of that, we've had that dialogue. So we really was like, you know what, this is really interesting. Let's look further to it. And what we kind of surmised was that, hindsight being 2020, even in Rwanda, we learned that as it relates to our African family, they don't have to concern themselves with color. Color consciousness is something that seems to be very, very unique only to we as Black Americans, and maybe those from the UK. I'm not too sure.
No, UK definitely. You seen the lady in the Gambia, um,
Blacks,
Blacks.
blacks.
She talks about her life, her and her child's life.
So even in the UK,
Hmm. But the thing is, when we're dealing with Africans on the continent, they say this wonderful thing that I actually started to believe. They say Africans don't see color. And he doesn't know I'm going to say this, but I realized this the other day, that that's a lie.
hmm,
That's a
okay,
lie.
here we go, taking off.
And y'all know I say it, but it bothered me. We were at the mall and I watched again this beautiful, the Kenyan women are beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Kenyan women are beautiful. They're put together. They're articulate. A lot of them is very well educated. Some of them got the little stank about themselves. You can see it in their face.
Got some hood.
They
Some
got some
hood.
stank on them. However, it'll be the most, I'm gonna just be raw, ugliest, oldest,
Santa
dog
Claus.
face.
I know where she was going.
And it don't even have to be old. Like some of them, they've been here so long they don't even look old no more. But they're horrible looking.
Mm.
There's no way in the world you're going to tell me that that sister was physically attracted to that man, to Santa Claus, to raw meat.
Mm.
There's no way. The statistics prove that most little girls look for a man like their father. And most Africans have a family unit, mom and dad. It's not like our story. So if most little girls look for characteristics like their father, looking for, and I know my daughter used to do it too. Her dad, her dad was, he was a big guy through her childhood. So when she got older, she was liking big guys. I'm like, Lord have mercy, child. Mm-mm. There's no way in the world you're going to tell me that she was attracted to Santa Claus. You see color. You know what that color represents, and you look at it accordingly.
Mm.
You might not hate, or you might not look at a color with anger because you don't have it physically affecting you,
Hmm.
but you see color. And that's a lie if you say you don't. The same thing with, I haven't seen the young men over here in Nairobi with Caucasians, but in Mombasa or on the coastal areas, for sure.
A
And when
lot
I
of
say
tourists going over
old, when I say old, they be with canes, they be in wheelchairs. An old woman is different than an old man.
there.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna leave it right there.
Just
I'm aging, I know.
hey, so
So there ain't no way in the world a young, fine, gorgeous Kenyan brother looked at this old white woman and said, mm,
mm, mm, mm.
she sure is sexy. Liar. You looked at her purse and you know what comes along with that color. That's why she's over here. There's no way in the world we're going to truly hear you say this
Mm.
one more time. Africans don't see color. You're a lie. Africans don't see the stigma with color, don't recognize what that color has done to their people, but you see color.
Brother Carrington. Shout out to Brother Carrington, my man. I'm gonna tell you, he sends me some gold nuggets.
Right. You
Uh,
see money.
I love Brother Carrington, how you come across some good information you shared. So we got some things lined up based on the information that you shared. So shout out to you, salute my brother, salute. But yeah, that's a good one. You see money. So I'm gonna tell you, my man Andre, okay in the house. We're trying to get everybody knows trying to get
You know,
that money.
y'all better tell Andre he better be at that event because the people want to see him in his crazy self.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see you on here, brother. Salute to you for sure, my brother. So this is good. This is a good segue, right? Because as diasporas, as we are transitioning, as we are journeying back, however you want to term it, however you want to look at it, there's things that we have to look at, right? If we are wanting to exist in a shared space with a pure uh, exchange, and learning that there's a difference from our perspective. Whereas anytime, anywhere we go, we look for someone that looks like us. Like we see it immediately. So we probably said it before. When we do road trips and we hit one of these back country roads and we got to pull off to get some gas, guess what we're looking for? We're looking for a brother or sister who look just like us.
When we were in Italy, we went walking looking for food. We came back to the hotel and there was a brother sitting outside. We damn near skipped over to him like, oh
The
look.
brother, we didn't even expect it. The
We
brother
were
was
so happy.
from New York. I knew it immediately. He jumped off the elevator. I said, this is my brother here. And he saw the same thing.
It was
And
like a
we
sigh of relief.
and
Like,
we locked in.
people.
So we've been given, right? We have been, I'm saying it just like this. We have been given a color consciousness, right? And the way we want to attempt to try to pick this apart is, I understand when it's being said. I understand what you're saying, but I understand when it's being said that they don't see color, right? And I thought about it because as I did in doing more and more research, I'm coming to find out that this color consciousness was literally imposed upon us. If you think about it, why would if my whole life, generation after generation after generation, all I've seen was somebody that looked like me, what need would there for me to be color conscious? I am what I am. I see you, you are who you are. It wasn't until the Johnny come lately comes in his exploration and presents himself, who looks completely different from who we are. Now, being the type of people that we are, when I say we, I mean Black Americans, Africans, same. We are very welcoming. We are very open people. So that's what we did. Of course, we know the story. to our demise. Nonetheless,
Well, Andre cussing in the comments. Him cussing in the comments.
all right, let's put it up here. We gotta let our brothers.
What? You gonna have, like, wait, yeah, they said as long as they don't cuss within the first 3 minutes of the video, we
He's
won't be
okay.
flagged. So
All
we
right, so we
okay.
30 minutes in. We good. We 30 minutes in.
Nadege Calf, welcome to Freedom Level.
Oh yes, yeah. Thank you so much for that membership. We appreciate it very, very much. Thank you so much. So now we have to look at this. This is something that could be unpacked not in an hour, 2 hour period. This is a study, right? We're not gonna go too deep into it. It's not. This is a study. But I wanted to be able to say, okay, let's share this.
Mhm.
Let's really look at this. Let's examine this for ourselves. When I say ourselves, meaning diasporas, and also our African family as well, because it was a process. This is a process that took place, and we have been functioning in this particular conditioning. Now, I'll be the first to say, I'm black. I love it, and I love being black. I love being a black American, and in truth, this color consciousness that was imposed upon us is both a gift and a curse at the same time. We'll revisit that down the line. So,
But can I say something?
please, absolutely. Somebody else, somebody calling. Say what you gotta say.
Let me say, and this is one of those personal things that I know I've never shared, but in my family, dealing with color consciousness, I'm probably one of the browner skinned females in my family. My grandmother and my mother and their siblings are very fair skinned. But there are darker men in our family. My uncle, my brother was a little browner, just a tad bit. And my grandmother would say, if we brought, I remember bringing my first boyfriend home to meet my grandmother in high school. She says, why you bring that spook in here? Because he was dark skinned
Mm.
and he had thick African lips and locks down his back. And his nose was spread across his face.
Like Harris one?
Like a Mandingo warrior. He was my Mandingo in high school, I'm telling you. So my grandmother said, why you bring that spook in here?
Mm.
But me growing up, me and my brother, we used to be in the mirror trying to figure out who's darker. I mean, arguing, going to blows over this. I'm darker, because we got one shade darker on us. As a little girl, I would put a shirt on my hair. No one in this whole entire audience hair is kinkier than mine.
Let me tell you.
Keep it up, I'll cut you with it. Nobody's hair is kinkier than mine. I have the hair of Jesus himself.
This is true.
We went to a petting zoo one day. He took a picture of the lamb, and I was looking at the lamb, and he wanted me to see the hair. My hair and the lamb's hair was exactly the same.
I said, I hit the jackpot.
To this day, I really don't like you. And so I would put a shirt around my head just so when I walk, I could make it move like the white girls. And my desire and my thought kept wrestling with, if I only had white girl hair, or if I was only like this, I was never good enough.
We'll see here.
No, my hair is 4F. C is a compliment. And so the struggle of color consciousness, even in a family that is pro-black, my mom didn't play. Our whole entire family, except for the boys always want to taste some vanilla pudding. And the rest of the family said, you bring them home, you're not coming in this house. It was just crazy. But I dealt with colorism in the home. Light was too bright, dark was a spook. We just couldn't get it right. We couldn't get it right. But so, how did we get this way?
So how do we, right? And this is very interesting, because this what you're sharing and what's being shared is a reality among Black people from America. So how do we come from culture to color, right? Culture, certain customs, language, all of which, naming, uh, even religion, all of these things which were taken away from us and removed from us. Now, all the while, my thinking is that, okay, so they just denied us our expression of what we knew of culture, customs, and tradition, not really realizing that it was schematic. It was really uh, designed to, and truthfully, it was designed to just really reverse the nature of us, in which at a period of time, that's exactly what had been done. So I want to just share some things.
And
Uh,
thank you, Atia Brown, real quick. I just got that notification. Thank you so much for
Thank
that
you. I don't know
blessing.
what it was, but thank
It
you
was a
very much.
blessing.
It's a blessing. We take blessings.
She said she was like, "Girl, go get your hair done."
Go get that 4C
And
right.
you see, no, I have 4H. I have 4F. You see the 4F coming out.
Thank you for the 4C blessing. So let's look at it, right? So some of us of diasporas who do the knowledge, they already very familiar with the process of making of us what is called a slave, right? Because when we were kidnapped and taken from the continent, we didn't go willingly. We fought, contrary to what it may be.
Millions died in that
Yeah, millions
process.
died willingly. They fought. We didn't just automatically just submit like this. No, even when our feet touched the shores of America, we were still fighting, right? So it was a process of breaking us down. And this was a scientific process to make us so far removed from our original state and our original being that we would not be able to find our way back. And this is what's happening now, this great migration, if you will, this pilgrimage that is taking place was something that they never wanted. So for those who are already here, of us that are here, we've really we've did almost the impossible, really and true, when we look at it, because we're here and we are in the same space where we came from, wherever it is on the continent, with our African family. So I wanted to let me put this up here and start here, right? And let's look at it. So here we have Willie Lynch, right? And you can read it. But what I have highlighted there is in the planning of breaking us and making us a slave, one of the strategies was to use the dark skin versus the light skin and vice versa. So it's showing you right there that color affecting the color scheme or giving a certain consciousness to color was a tool used to remove us farther away from our true identity or our cultural way and our cultural expression. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, here we go. So much like what you were saying, in that way, that your grandmother and then even your brother, you take it back to the origin of it on the plantation
Hmm.
when you had the darker and the lighter, as it says, we're going to take the lighter, right? We're going to give you a greater privilege. We're going to bring you inside the house. We're going to make you, we're going to dress you up because you're going to serve, right?
Because you look closer to
Because
us,
you're,
you deserve the right to wipe my butt,
think about it. It's
to lay
crazy.
in my bed, to take care of my children.
All of that. Now you looking out the window and you see the darker of you out in the field, tattered clothing, sweating, bleeding, the whole nine,
With their babies.
with their babies, and this causing the division and divide. So there's a consciousness now. There's a certain level of thinking as it relates to color, but that's not anything that we originated. This is something that was imposed for us to look at ourselves in a particular way and also look at one another in a particular way that is more like divisive, if you will. So let's keep going real quick. I just want to run through this real quick and lay a quick foundation because it's a very interesting, it's very interesting. It's a very interesting study and a perspective. So before I want to show something in the way of a video, right? It's a dramatization, but it's necessary to show this. Many of us are familiar with it. Many of us are familiar with it from a like 1977, I believe it was, from the dramatization of our enslavement. But there's a 2016 version of it, which was the story of Roots. And listen, if you can't handle it, just put it on pause or mute or whatever the case may be. But it's necessary to be able to share and to show, especially for our African family, especially. And it has great significance to how we come from high culture, high civilization, and have been reduced to just a color, or a race, if you will. So
But before you show it, the person we spoke to yesterday gave us a greater insight on one of the reasons why he wants to show this. He did say that learning about African American history was presented in Kenyan school systems. It was presented as an elective.
as a choice, not as a mandatory.
Right. So if you didn't have that elective, then you didn't know about us. All you knew there was some black people in America.
Mhm.
So this is showing, I'm not even gonna watch it. My mother used to make us watch this.
This is wrong.
Every time it came on as a child, this was like, to me, a form of punishment. I used to sleep under the covers looking at the window, thinking master gonna come tapping on my window any minute now. So I'm not gonna watch it, but I probably can say every part.
But before, let me show this aspect of the Willie Lynch strategy, and then I'll go into it real quick. So this was a strategy. You take the meanest and the restless N-word, strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male N-word and the female and even the infants. Tar and feather him, tie each leg to a different horse in opposite directions, set them afire, and beat both horses to pull them apart
Jesus
in front of the remaining of those who were looking. The next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining N-word male to the point of death in front of the female and the infant. Don't kill him, but put fear of God in him, for he can be useful for future breeding. That's very important as we move forward real quick. So let me show this. And if you have any children around, you might, I don't know.
Let them watch it.
Let them watch it.
I've
but
been
you gotta
watching
have,
it since I was 3,
ha-
4
ha-
years
ha-
old.
have a discussion. Have a discussion. Here we go. All right. All right. Let's count the 10 for a second. I know that was rough. I see the comments is lit. The comments are lit. It's necessary. We have to. It's necessary on both parts. For us as diasporas. See, this is why they won't. This is why they won't teach it in the school systems, because the association, it's not. You can't separate the knowledge from the effects and how you feel from that knowledge. And clearly, anyone can look at that and see how wrong it is or it was, right?
Another thing to point out, you hear the British accent, right?
Hmm.
So most of East Africa that didn't go with slavery was still colonized by the same people that stole us from the West. And okay, You don't see color. Do you see behavior? Do you see energy? These are the same people that have colonized you, that fills your school systems up, and of course will keep the history of what they've done to us out of your school systems. Why? The Willie Lynch letter is not just for the making of physical slaves. Now we deal with mental slaves, still on this continent, all the way up into leadership.
So, and this is because that was a physical, but it was more than physical. It was psychological because it was purposeful that they would bring those on the plantation to witness and to watch that occurrence, to strike fear into and distrust and all of those particular things. And so it's the psychological that is more, which the physical is one thing, but the psychological is long lasting, and it has a even a greater effect because the physical can be healed from, but the psychological trauma and terroristic acts, they last for generations and generations. And that was a process of removing us far, far away from who we are, where we come from, right?
Like even when we first got to the continent, when went to Rwanda, and we were asking Rwandese, "What is your name?" And they would say, "My name is Becky. My name is
It was the strangest
Giselle.
thing.
My name is Cheryl." And we're like, "Where do you get these names from?" And they told us that when the uh, the white what were they pilgrim what you call them
Just the colonizers.
came over and told them, in order for you to be saved by God, you have to take on that good white Christian name and leave your African name behind.
Which is what we just saw, but
In Africa.
in a more horrific manner. So it doesn't change.
It doesn't
The
change. It's
method doesn't
embedded.
change.
It continues and continues in different ways, even here in beautiful Kenya. Why are we speaking to Gidgets and Toms and Arnolds and Rubies?
I haven't met an Arnold yet, but if
I
I
had a
do,
driver named Arnold.
oh
And
my
so I
gosh.
say, "What is your Kenyan name?" He don't even want to tell me.
Hmm.
This is my good white Christian name. Because now we're told here that parents tell them, when you're out dealing with people, use this name.
So,
Why?
and pause right there.
Paul,
Think about that. Think
Peters.
no, no. Think about what you just said and what you were informed of with that, which is parallel to we as Black people when we're out in the company of, and we are told, now look here,
Alex with Shiro.
don't embarrass me in front of these white folks. You make sure you
That's your
mind your
highway to
manners.
heaven.
So there has been an impression globally when it comes to the darker people of the earth, specifically Africa and the descendants, the descendants, that even if you were thinking that you don't see color, you're affected by it regardless. You're seeing it without having to see it with your own two eyes because it's creeped into the culture, it's creeped into the society to where, as was mentioned, now I have to take on a name that is more European, that has an origin that is far removed from my origin. It doesn't have a same meaning. It doesn't have the same meaning at all. And so to disassociate with a name like Kunta Kinte that has a meaning that runs far in association with a bloodline, and
Of warriors.
you're gonna cut me off from my origin, my bloodline. Now I have no, what existence do I have?
And imagine just not just that's his family that's watching and other big black African watching them beat this name out of him. This is imprinted on DNA to come. That fear factor. As we're seeing, even Alex said he laughing like, yeah, my good Christian name is Alex. This is generations of believing that we can no longer have our original names because the good white Christians won't see us as people. We're not even worthy of a conversation because we don't share their names. And see, what they did to us was gave us names of really everyone on the plantation shared the name of that master.
So when you have so say if you have a dog, right? You have a dog. What's the first thing you do?
Oh, you kissing me so cute?
I'm not talking
Oh,
about that.
give him a
You
name.
give them a name because you're the master.
Hmm.
You're the master. Or any pet that you have, you give it the name, and
Hmm.
that name you give it is because you're exercising authority because you're training that, you're feeding that, or whatever. And so we've become and we have been made in the way of property. So
Like he said, you're like the dog or the horse,
exactly.
then it's you.
And that was the science that went into buck breaking, as my sister Cheryl said. The science that went into it was designed specifically to break the nature as you would do a horse. Same exact way. Same exact way. And this is the deliberation. Let's put this here.
And I'm coming for you, PP Bob.
So you have where's let me move this out the way so we can really see it. So we're moving into the color and how that this is the discovery for me that this was deliberate. It wasn't just okay, Massa found that you know the sister that was on the plantation was uh physically appealing and he would sneak into the slave quarters. No, there was a purposeful reasoning behind him going into those particular slave quarters. And here it is, crossbreeding. And they intended to do this crossbreeding to give of what they would call their white blood, putting them into as many women as possible, varying the drops by various tones that you will want, and then letting them breed with each other until a circle of colors appear as you would desire. What this means is putting them and the horse in the breeding pot, mix some asses and some good white blood, and
Mm.
what do you get? You got a multiplicity of colors of ass backward, unusual N words running tied to backward ass long headed mules, the production of itself, the others sterile, right? So let me move this. Hold on 1 second. So it was it was intended, which I honestly I really didn't know that. I didn't. I read the Willie Lynch letter, but that missed that part. But now that I'm focusing in on the colorism or the color consciousness, I put it to the color consciousness, realizing that this was intended. And there was an assertion of whiteness. And there was an imposition of blackness being less than this whiteness, a superiority, which is where you get this white supremacy ideology and white supremacy complex. It originated in the institution of slavery. And it was a part of the strategy. And so, from culture to color, right? That culture is something that's very hard to rid yourself of or someone to rid you of. But color can be tainted, as we just saw. Drop some of this quote unquote white blood in there. right? So we can mix it up. So they were creating a particular orbital cycle that we could own, that only we as diasporas or black people or descendants of Africa could function in. This is why we are so unique from any other people on the face of this earth. We have an experience and we have been broken in a way that no human being on the planet in the annals of history has ever experienced such a dehumanizing act. No one
And
at all.
people like to point out that, okay, the Arabs had African slaves. There was African slaves used in different, but even slavery to me, period, was the worst thing could possibly happen to any human person. But what these particular people did was to go out and destroy a whole race.
This is a chattel slavery. There's a difference.
It's a difference.
Chattel
This is
slavery and slavery based on
on, okay,
status.
I'm gonna capture you and make you work. That's slavery, yes.
But you still got your name. You
Right.
still know where you come from. You still get to practice your language, speak your language. You still get to practice your religion, whatever faith that might be. All of that. None of that is removed. The culture that you knew and know, you still get a chance, or they still got a chance to express and experience and in practice. Not us, not
Mm-mm.
I.
Can you imagine if you can prove that any other slaves went through watching your man's male parts get chopped off, or watching your wife, a baby coming out, snatched out of her in birth, or cut out of her while she's still alive and screaming. She dies and the baby lives. Here, give this to you, to the mammy. This is the kind of stuff. And so it's hard for us, Black Americans, that have a conscience, that are awake, that know their history, to come to the continent. Because I know a lot of times when we talked about these issues, the locals be like, y'all need to get over it. Do y'all think this is over?
We would like to get over
If
it. We
you,
really would.
I wish you had a video of what we go through with police brutality. This is no different. When that man put his knee on that person's neck and everybody stood around and watched, including the media, including people that got the video, watched, which what? Put fear, again, more and more and more fear into our Black brothers and sisters.
Mm.
If I say anything, he'll just shoot me. Because why? We're still their property. They still think that they have the right to treat us like dogs and horses. Ain't that what that letter said? That we're in that category, that we're not human, and you want us to get over it. And you ask, why are you here? Why would you leave there to come here?
And this
Who
is
wants to live in trauma for the rest of their life?
and you said earlier, this is DNA. I mean, this is, I mean, if reaches far than just a social occurrence or a passing in time. This was done. Even this particular Willie Lynch letter, it says that if you apply these principles and these methods, this will have an effect for 300 plus years. Here we are. We are in that time still, that the effects of this Willie Lynch letter, and not even the letter, but the strategy, that's the best way I can put it, to implement, and that was implemented and used to bring us to up into this very point that we are in. So when you fast forward, right? You go,
Can I address something real
go
quick?
ahead.
Um, it be stressing me out when y'all say stuff. The It's a difference when you get a holy name, a spiritual name. It's a difference. Arabs, yeah, they have the name Muhammad. How is it spelled? You're looking at our last name. Is it spelled the same way of Arabs? No. Is there a spiritual meaning to it?
What are you responding to?
Yes. It has nothing to do with a culture of people. It has to do with the spiritual name of being a Muslim. Many of you don't know my name, my government name is not Adila. My government name is not Muhammad. If you were to trace my government name, you would see 4 generations of them in the Carolinas. I believe 4 generations of Brockington, which is my mother's maiden name, from the plantation in the Carolinas. My brother could tell you more. He done did all the research. And then my father's last name, Hamilton, you'll find them in the same doggone area. When him and I got married, his last name was Williams. I said, I'm not leaving my plantation name to go to your plantation name. If it's not to change it for a spiritual name, one worthy of praise, then we ain't changing it. We decided to take on our spiritual name legally. Changed my whole first name, the name my mother gave me. Mom, why did you name, I don't know, I'll tell you, my name was Sonia. Why did you name me Sonia? There was a white ice skater in Germany that she thought was so cool.
You name a white woman.
Walking around with a Mazungo name because of a ice skater in Germany? And everybody say it wrong. I'm Sonia, Sandra. I hated that name. So for me, to take on again a spiritual name or an Arabic name or a Swahili name was freedom. It was honor. It's spiritual. It was some chains and shackles being broken off of my mind. My daughter's name is Malaika. She's lighter than I am.
You get all the government.
My granddaughter's name is Imani. There will
Government.
not be no Mazungo names coming from my lineage. No.
So I like Sister Rakaya. Thank you, sister. You know, wa alaikum salam to you as well. And this is very true. I don't know if this is what you're responding to, but
I was already going to respond to PB Bob,
yeah,
he's a supporter for sure. He was just, I don't know.
I don't know.
When he bumped his head a little bit and then he came back and said, unless it's a spiritual name. But let me just clarify that. We don't have Arab names.
No, we don't have Arab. I'm gonna tell you
No,
this.
sir.
I'll tell you the best way I can tell you as students of the teachings of, and we'll hit this and we'll keep moving. Students of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and followers of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad as guided by the honorable minister Louis Farrakhan, our understanding and our truth is that Islam before there was anything such as an Arab, there was Islam. Arabs are not the originators of Islam. The tribe, we come from a tribe. We're from a, I'm not going to go into it.
You see,
I'm
I'm
not
like,
going to
no,
go
no,
into
no,
it.
we're not
I'm not
doing
going to
this.
go into it, but it's nothing of a shame to go into it. I just don't have the time to go into it. And the origin of our tribe dates back millions of years. It is the parent tribe. And so Islam is as old as life itself. It is the submission of one's will to the will of God. Everything in creation was made in submission to his will. So life itself, from our understanding perspective, and Islam is not an Arab religion. We didn't accept Islam to become Arab. We accepted Islam to become back to our natural self, which is to be in submission to God, simply, very simply. And so, because as Black people, though, and our unique experience being taken away from our origin and our way, Elijah Muhammad said, "You're not a slave to no one but God." So the names that you have is a name that is associated with a former slave master. Man cannot serve two masters. So because we did not know and we're not able to trace our origin to our family or lineage, he gave us an X to represent the unknown. So when you see Malcolm X, everyone was X. I was brother Lamont X, sister Sonia X, because we declared that we would be a slave to no one but God Himself. And so we were fortunate to be given a name that has meaning, that has a connection to
The
the
creator,
to the Creator Himself,
not to
not
an
to an
Arab
Arab,
people.
not to no Arab.
Mm-mm.
And so it ties us back. It gives us our purpose and our origin. So yes, for certain and for sure, please know, ain't no Arabism over here. No Arabism over here. So moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. W.E.B. Du Bois, right? And we're going to tie it up with W.E.B. Du Bois, who many may know was one of our phenomenal scholars. If you are familiar with the talent, if you're familiar with the NAACP, you will know that W.E.B. Du Bois was very responsible for the NAACP. But that's a whole nother history. Nonetheless, he was a sociologist, and he was one who saw it fit to examine the sociological conditions of Black people. Nobody was doing his time. Wasn't nobody concerned about Black people like that. And so, in his study, being the first to have, as a Black person, to study at Harvard and graduate from Harvard, he never disowned or he never turned away from the concerns of Black people, and utilizing that privilege and that benefit to be able to study and examine us to offer a solution and a way out, or the way to look at our present condition. And what he found was something in our existence in trying to live and survive in the American cultural society is that we, as Black people, were experiencing what was considered a two-ness or a double consciousness. And this double consciousness was predicated upon a social construct that yet again was originated by white folk. And so let me just real quick. Oh, I forgot about the banners. I be forgetting about the banner. All right. Let's see. Let's look at what our brother says. Okay, so, and I'm gonna tell you, I feel that double consciousness when living in America. I felt that, and we feel it, and we don't even know to associate unless we went under this particular read and study. But we live in this double consciousness, this two-ness. So here's an example, right?
Let me give my example.
Give your example.
So I've worked in corporate
I was gonna get
America,
that same example.
and a phone call come in while I was in billing and finance.
Put it on it. Put it on them. Put it on them.
Good morning, not Adila. Good morning, this is Sonia. How may I help you? Oh, I have a thyroid issue, so now my voice isn't as perky as it used to be. I'm like,
You don't have
why
that
my Becky
whiteness.
ain't coming out right?
Becky.
Good morning. This is Sonia. How may I help you? I'm so happy you called today. Yes, let me have your account number. Oh, wonderful. And how are you today? Amazing. Okay, I have it right here. Let me look over your account. I see the problem. Yes, that's my good Becky voice. Well, it used to be. Now I got thyroid issues, but
She's in Africa now.
yes, now my name is Adila. I can't go that high anymore. I'm on the land of my people.
Well, that's what the example I was going to share. Not me. I'm just saying that's something that, as she said, that occurs that we have to put it on. And there's two worlds. There's two existence is, if you will, that we have to function from, right? And this is a study that was given and done by our brother W.E.B. Du Bois. And so he goes on to be able to mention how this social construct, this social construct that was developed and created, it was a color was based on this, okay?
That's too much.
I'll read it real quick. Du Bois, he makes his claim pointing specific by noting that concept of whiteness. This whiteness is a concept, is what we might call a social construct, a concept that developed in the late. Now listen to this: a concept that developed in the late 19th century and the 20th century. Before that, various societies hardly made much of a difference in skin color. Excuse me. So I won't go further into that. So this was again, this was a ploy. This is something that was deliberate. This was something that was done intentional to assert again a certain superiority, and the method that was used was to utilize color or racialize the existence of people. We, unfortunately, being that which was at the bottom rung in this comparativeness of whiteness and blackness. And so this concept of whiteness was the foundation of a social construct that which we had to come up in and live under, and that still really exists to this very day. So in our fight, in our journey, trying to get back to what was, there's a lot of stuff we got to fight through, because now you're dealing with generations, you're dealing with just DNA imprint, you're dealing with conditioning, you're dealing with a lot of different factors that come along with us as we try to make our journey back to Africa or back to ourselves. And so we can really go on, to be quite honest with you. I have so much information, but I know this is something that is not as exciting, it's not as entertaining, it's
But
not as
once we have the conversation with the gentleman, the Kenyan that we met with the other day, and he explained that it's an elective, it came clear to us like this is why we be kind of fighting, because it's not that you have to know our history. You have to know how we got to the States. You have to know why we're coming back. At this point, you absolutely don't. You don't have to know.
it's okay.
It's okay,
It's really okay in a sense, but just know
but if
that
we don't at least
we
share
have to.
with you,
You got to.
it's
We
our
have to.
platform. We gotta let you know
We
who
gotta
we
let
are.
you know. We will be remiss, and the blood will be on our hands that we can't have that.
Right.
You can't, you know,
We want people to come. We want our other, and this is the reason why. Y'all say, why are you here? Why y'all want to come here? This is the reason why, because life, that was history, but life has not changed too much from that.
no, it hasn't.
Now it's just disguised a little bit more. Oh, you get a little bit of green trickled over your head. You get a little disguise that, okay, you'll make money now, where before you worked for us for free. And now in history, now in school in Florida and other parts of the South in the US, they want to teach the children that we willingly came over and offered free
Like we was on a
labor.
Carnival
Like it's a
cruise
cruise
ship.
ship, and
Like we was like,
because now
let's
they
go.
give us a better life if we're in the States after watching you kill our grandmothers and our great great grandfather. We seen all of this. You traumatized us to death. You still do it, and we should be honored
So this is why
because we had a better life. Because when we came to Kenya, we seen y'all hanging in the trees and lions running down the highway and monkey. Oh, I seen the
that's
monkeys
their
too.
narrative.
That's what they teach us over there. So they got us and made us civilized because y'all was savages over here. Savages.
So the benefit, here's the benefit of us being, when I say us, meaning diasporas, black people in Africa and anywhere, really truthfully, anywhere where all the darker people are across the globe, is what was considered and called a second sight. Again, W.E.B. Du Bois. Second sight, right? What is this second sight? So this is something that is afforded not to everybody. I'm almost safe to say it's something that's only afforded to we as blacks, America, UK, whatever, who have been under the foot and ill-treated by the European. What I'm saying is that we've lived with. So where there's only a single site that is asserted by white folks, right? And that assertion again is a superiority, and there's a treatment with that superiority of a inferiority, quote unquote. And we've experienced, we've witnessed from generations. And so we already know how it is when living among the Caucasian. We can see, as we say, we can see him a mile away. We know. And so, in instances possibly where this is why we can speak about certain things when we hear certain reportings of uh, foundations. Now, Mr. Bill, you know who I'm talking about, coming and he's sitting with heads of states about, this the farming. I'm gonna just use these coded words, the farming and agriculture and so forth and so on, and dealing with how to better manage the population. We've lived among, and we know the planning, we know how they maneuver, we know how they operate. So we know when we see these things, we hear these things, it's not going to be a good outcome.
And please rest assured, if we're saying that the outcome, the effects of what they did 400 plus years ago still affects the DNA in the future generations, whether they know it or not. Whether they know it or not, the effects of the people that did it should also make it clear to all of us, whether you see them doing this or not, who they are and what they are. And you think that they're so far removed from what the people did from 400 years ago. You're fooling yourself, because the news that you guys watch and we'll just keep staying with the police brutality and the murders that the police have done to Black people, only a tenth of them have been charged with murder. Even though they killed them right in your face for the whole world to see on social media, they walked away as they put that fear imprint on your DNA.
Mm.
And nobody does anything but march and tear up our own neighborhoods, and then we let it fizzle away. It's the same buck breaking they did then,
Mhm.
they're doing it now. But nobody sees color. Y'all only see green because it's $1.
But guess what?
You sell your soul out to the devil for $1.
If you don't see color, they see color.
They see color.
They see
You
color
think
for
they don't
sure.
go back to the
Man,
West
please.
with their good old beautiful old raggedy wives and their families?
Wait, correct.
Because old people age different, white people age differently.
Oh my gosh.
But
So
their families, and they come over here for a holiday, impregnate your women, spend a couple dollars on them. You cannot say you were attracted to that man. There's no way. You're my sister. I can't even look at her without wanting to just, ugh. There's no way. You see color. The color you want to focus on is green.
there's so many, and there's so many comments I'm seeing, and unfortunately, we can't really address all of the comments. Shout out to my sister Asiata. I hope I pronounced that correctly. My sister Rakaya. Thank you so very much for standing firm and strong. I appreciate that for sure.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but
But I want to I want to say this too. I want to say this. I think it's timely. Been wanting to say it for quite some time. Is that I would be really foolish to think that because I read the comments and we're grateful for all the comments. We thank you for taking time
It's
to
always
comment.
that good black one that's gonna fight for them.
However, I would be a fool not to think that just like anything that is moving toward a unification of an educating of the black minds and, and, and propelling us and progressive, that there would not be any agents among us.
Right.
That I would be a fool not to think that.
If it's not an agent, then Kazurian Empire, you're what we would call Tom.
Yeah, you
You would
can't.
take that beautiful Christian name, Tom, for real.
I just watch, I just follow, and I see, how, some commenting goes so far left from the general topic, almost to try to, get people off course. We've been taught very well, we've been trained very well, so we have a second sight, and so we have more than a second sight. We have a third sight. I like to think, and we watch for these particular things. However, we move forward. We continue. We do what is, necessary for us to do because we have to control our narrative. This is a part of our narrative. We can't gloss it over. We're here. We're here. We're there. We're everywhere.
We're all over
We're
this
all over,
earth.
and we're gonna be right. So since we are here, in order for me and you and we and us to be able to cohabitate, to exist in a peaceful manner, in a manner that is of understanding, we have to know one another. You have to know me. I mean, you don't have to, but it will be better. It will behoove you to know me. It will behoove you as we should know you.
But one of
It will behoove us to know you.
exactly like when we come here, we want to know you. We want to know your culture. We want to know as many cultures as possible because again, ours was stolen. So we sit like a little child in the classroom every time that someone, any local, talk to us about their people. And we sit in with admiration. And we're sitting in awe, like, wow. I hear so many, and to hear how proud, let's just say the Kenyans, but Rwandans too, how proud they are when they talk about their history, when they talk about their people, when they talk about their tribe and their accomplishments and what they fought for and fought against, and this one here that preserved this forest, and this one here that fought for the rights of women, and ah, we love learning about us because that's how we see it. Not about you because you're Kenyan or Rwandan. We don't know where we from. We didn't even do a DNA check. I don't even care. We know we from the land of my people. That's why I say it. I have a universal accent of Africa. It's the land of my people. That's it. I don't know what tribe I came from, but my DNA definitely says I'm from Africa. I do know it says I'm from the Fulani tribe. My brother did his thing, but it doesn't care about that. I love learning about us.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in return, because we are coming here with traumas and damage and PTSD and can be triggered, and you're looking like, what the hell? When someone's outside shooting up fireworks and we're trying to bend down thinking some gunshots coming through the windows, we have a lot going on and we want to come here for refuge. And we just want to be understood, not taken advantage of. It's understood.
I'm gonna tell you, like, I'll just keep it a buck, as they say. I'm to the point now where, you know, you've accepted it, leave me, let it alone. You know.
Yeah, Easy, you are about to get him. He's at Tom. We're probably gonna block him. Don't worry about it.
Let him go.
The ladies gonna get him.
Gonna get
if the brothers don't. The lady, Sister Cheryl, Sandra got voice. Natasha, where you at?
She's not on today. So I'm a Black American. I love being in Africa. I love being in Kenya. And I will forever and for always speak a truth or truths as it pertains and relates to we as Black people. And no matter where I am, no matter where we go, and it's just something that is you just can't get away from. You won't get away from. Somewhere down the line, somewhere you're gonna come face to face in terms with it because just because. I won't go into that.
And it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. So, but we wanted to just address and share with
Since you didn't know.
culture to color, right? We have been, it's a process. It was a process. And the process, the effects of that process still haunts us and exists to this very day. However, there is an awakening, and it's been an awakening, and we're reaching a threshold. We're reaching a threshold when, in fact, the Black man and woman from America completely awakens
And unites.
and unites. You might want to be ready.
Because
You might want to be ready
the whole
because
world will be ours.
it truly will be. It truly will be.
And I
So
feel like it's happening though.
it's happening. It's really
Listen,
happening.
y'all, the Kenyans are the most educated people I have ever met. Not just because of the schooling they have, but they do their own research. So we've met lawyers this week.
Mhm.
We've met other YouTubers who are actual teachers and doctorates in history and studies. And I'm like, and they thirst for knowledge and they enjoy having intellectual conversations. When the Black man in America unites with the Black men all over the earth,
Yeah.
and this crazy dude in here talking about,
Because
the teachers, they opened the schools up in Kenya. If it wasn't for the good white Christian teachers, we would have no schools.
like someone said, he's trolling. We again, we know,
What?
we understand, we understand, we know that there are those who are sent, there are those who are intending and designed to, try to destabilize and try to immobilize.
Can I say one last thing?
No, because I want to show something. You can,
Okay,
please,
one last
but
thing.
I want to show this to
On the
round it up.
plantation, and the Caucasians having babies, they sit on Big Mama lap. She feeds them.
Mhm.
She is their first teacher. She
Mm.
teaches them their language, how to talk, how to act,
Mm.
how to play, how to eat,
Mm.
civilized.
Mm.
She is their first teacher.
Mm.
They don't even know how to cook their own foods. Why do you think they came for you?
Mm.
To say that we would have no schools in Africa if it wasn't for the good old white folk, you almost made me cuss.
I mean, and I don't really, honestly, I don't think it's even worthy to address. However, I mean, when you speak of the ancient mystery school systems of Egypt, which is Africa, and the original Africans, this is a discussion, but look like you and I. That's why the Sphinx, Napoleon shot the nose off of the Sphinx because it
I
looked
don't want it looking like a
look just like us. But the ancient mystery school systems, when you speak in terms of Socrates and Plato and all of these so-called these Greek philosophers, they studied in the Egyptian school systems. They studied there. These are school systems of a high order. These are not just, fly by night. These were not fly by night schools. And so it's very ignorant, really, in truth, to make that particular claim.
Now they found out he's in the UK. It's
That's
Baba
okay.
Mzungu.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. To make that claim, which is, yeah, I would like to anyway, that if it were not for white folks, when as history that I was taught and I'm aware of is uh, that there were a 2,000-year period where white folks were in the caves and hillsides of Europe, and that Moses had to go to them to civilize them, to bring them out and teach them how to walk on two legs instead of on all fours, teach them how to cook their food, teach them how to be civilized, how to
To
build a home for
wash their
themselves,
bodies.
teach them, and then bring them back into society. These are us, the original people who brought the Caucasian from the Caucasus Mountains into civilization to teach them to how to be civilized.
But on top of that, why do they call it seven wonders of the world?
What's the seven wonders of the world?
Because you can't figure out how it was created.
Eighth wonder. Oh, you talking
Eight,
about?
the eight
Oh,
wonders.
you
Okay.
talking? Oh, I see what you
How
mean.
many wonders? That's just how many they name. But how was this created? How was the pyramids created? If you look at a pyramid, it's precise. That means there was some scientists, some mathematicians, that some people that understood geometry and how these things are still standing. So how to build a solid platform to last a lifetime through rain, sandstorms, or whatever type of natural disaster, they're still standing. That means there were minds brilliant, more brilliant than anything they ever brought over to here. And we're going to say, if it wasn't for the good master giving us these schools and their good money. No, they came to give you their education to keep you enslaved. Yes, they did that. Mentally enslaved for those that didn't get physically enslaved. Yes, they did that. Yay. Thank you. That's what they want you to tell them.
Excuse me, family. I had to sneeze there. This is really very interesting. But this is why these discussions are very necessary because there's a schism. There's a schism, and we can't. I'm gonna tell you, family. We won't be able to move forward, or I should say, are moving forward together as we attempt to share a same space and cohabitate and coexist if we can't see one another accordingly to their
Now
existence.
Natasha's on.
Their
You've been
existence.
gone. People been bothering us, saying crazy stuff.
So,
We was
brother,
looking for you.
so brother Gerald, I would say that this comment is, if I'm reading it correctly, I would have to disagree. I really would have to disagree
Listen,
because you cannot all here's the thing. The thing is, colonialism definitely was horrific, right? Especially speak in terms of the Congo. That was really bad. It was terrible. King Leopold was Satan, right? But his cousin was, was doing damage over in the Americas and in the UK as well, right? But here's the thing, and this is not one of those things where I was treated worse than you, because that's time out for that. It's time out for that. But there's a sense of invalidating, you know, the experience when you present yourself, say, okay, well, yeah, all well and good, but what we experience here, we understand that. We do. We understand. We empathize and sympathize, and we are infuriated by that. But there's a level of acknowledgement that is expected when we are sharing something that you probably don't even know, or if you know, you don't know the depths or the degree of, and how that which had taken place, how it has defined our current existence, and how we are trying to move past and move forward and move on to establish or reestablish something that was taken from us. But if you can't just take a moment, if you can't just take a brief moment to give an acknowledgement, give a nod to what it is that we experience and how we are traumatized and how we are trying to build out of that, then I have to question the sincerity. And then I have to look at you crooked, really, truthfully, as we've been saying, knowing that there are those who are intended or ill-intended. So we'll continue, to give the narrative. and make sure that the narrative is given in its authenticity and with the energy and with the passion and with the spirit so that you can be clear and understood and understanding who and what we are and the intentions that we have. Our intentions being here. And I like to think that I'm speaking for, I can't speak for it. I'm not a spokesman for the diaspora at all. But I just know us, man. We are loving people. We want to just,
We just want to
we
be.
just want to be, but we want to be understood, and we don't want to be, you know, misunderstood. Anyway, we can go on and on to
So,
that.
like the event that I attended today, and I'm listening to all the people that in the diaspora that stood up and talked, and the Kenyans that stood up and talked, there was one goal, and that goal was to help build Africa in unity, seeing the value that each other bring. Black Americans, Black Canadians, uh, what, what what do you call the Caribbeans?
The
The,
West Indies.
the diaspora and the diaspora in general,
Right.
all bring a unique skill with that one desire to help build Africa. That's what we come for, in whatever way it is. Ours is this the ministry, I guess. Y'all told us it's a ministry. I was trying to pay rent. It's a ministry. That's what the God said. Okay. So in the ministry, we're trying to get our people free, mentally free. Africa's not for everybody. You don't have to claim that you came from this continent. It's okay. You can say you are what they call themselves, foundational Black Americans. Okay. You don't have to get angry because other people want to go to where their DNA is showing up. You don't got to be mad because you want to love the land that brought you there because you weren't born a slave. But to be fighting and demanding, I am this, that still sounds like slave mentality.
Hmm.
Because why are you going against someone who desires freedom from massa? That sounds like Willie Lynch. He did a good job.
Yeah, it was
Well
effective.
done.
It was effective, but we're grateful for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad for sure. So with this color thing, right?
We passed our mark.
We
You
passed
sure?
our mark. I just want to. We
I don't
gotta.
hear what
We got.
Alex said though. What Alex say?
I don't. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Talking about the average. Aboriginal. We're not Aboriginals of America. You're right.
that's
That
what
is
they be,
delusion.
yeah.
We're not
It's
Aboriginals of
crazy.
America.
You making Massa very proud.
We're Aboriginals of the entire earth.
Yeah.
We are from the original. So you can't diminish ourselves to just a geographical location. This is why we can come to Africa, just to be straight up. This is why we can come to Africa. This is why we can go to Asia, because I guarantee, and I don't care where you go on the face of this earth, when you go to the root of that place, it's going to take you to me and you and us. We are of the original.
Mhm.
We are that. It
If
is
you're
what
gonna
it
see
is.
the here, the earliest human remains on the planet is here.
Here in Kenya,
So therefore,
as it is
everything
studied, as it is,
everything comes from the essence of God.
of course.
The black, the brown,
So
the
the
snotty children, all of them.
so
So
we touched the nerve, which is good, you know, because as it was taught to me, is that when you put something in a some clothing that wants to get washed, and the only way you're gonna get that dirt off of that washing machine has to have an agitator. That agitator will.
but look what you gotta do though. You always have to separate the white. And only the white gets bleached to get all the impurities out. You always got to separate the white
You have to separate
from
it.
everything original. You got to take the white out. The
Sure.
white is always the agitated. If you don't take that white out and add bleach, it destroys all the clothes except for the white.
Except for the right. So let's end it up with
That was
this.
deep though, wasn't
That was
it?
deep. Come on, give me some. Give me some. Give me
That was deep. That was deep.
So now here we go. We want to round it up, right?
Hold on, I gotta say thank you to somebody. Michael Cunningham. Thank you so much
Thank you, sir.
for seeing value in what we're trying to do.
Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate the love offering. We really do. We really, really
I'm
do.
sorry if I said your whole government name.
He said you gave up his whole
The
government.
whole government name.
So let's so this culture to color. This is what we've been brought down to. And I wanted to show this one final thing because it's again it's generational, and it brings it all the effects of this psychological effect haunts us to this very day, right?
And it was
And
me.
and it brings it all the way even to this point. So the board, Brown versus the Board of Education, right?
I just don't make babies.
I am. It stemmed from, this is just a continuum from that when you did the baby doll testing, right? Just to see that these are babies, man. These are babies who have not even lived life, who are just learning even how to talk for that matter, right? And the impression, the psychological imprint passed down via DNA that we witnessed from that time, Brown versus Board of Education, and even someone picked up the mantle to look at it more, and even in the 21st century to see if things have changed, and it has not changed. So I'll show this. You've probably seen it already before, but I'll show it. I'll show it. But before I show it, I'll say this. As we have been given a true definition away from what they have imposed upon us as what it is to be black. As the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, black is not a color. Black is the essence from which all colors come from. And so we have all of the beautiful arrays of blackness, from the darkest of the dark to the lightest of the light. You see where I'm going, right? You see where I'm leaning, right?
You see, he's almost my color, right? I wouldn't even pick that up.
No, I'm just joking.
Who's he talking about?
So
We still be fighting. Me and him do it. Yeah, you see our arm is about the same color, right? You see this?
That's her. Anyway, so we are the essence. So we have to, the reason why we have to present this is we have to eradicate and rid ourselves of this ideology
Rhonda says
of white supremacy, of the whiteness of being superior, and blackness of any shade is inferior, because we're beyond the skin pigmentation. It goes deeper than the skin pigmentation. The melanin speaks volumes of many different aspects of our greatness. But it just happens that our melanin allows for us to be able to produce a varying array of our blackness: black, brown, red, yellow, whichever, even white. That's a whole nother discussion. And so this is important. This is very important. And we get back to our culture, or we redefine our culture based on our proper understanding of our color and of our existence, that we don't have to measure ourselves to a standard of whiteness. We don't. That was a concept imposed upon us, that to be able to control a social construct. So we got to break it. It has to be broken.
so. Real quick, Rhonda has a great model. You'll see stuff about the genocide all through Rhonda, because they say, "Never again, Rhonda." Lest we repeat history, right?
But this is
Never
just
again. It's just never again. They don't
never
to
again.
never repeat history again. They make sure you are aware of what happened to their people. You have to learn it. You have to respect it, and you have to receive it. So when you come to America, you don't have to see none of who we are. They wash it away, but we're trying to come back. So never again, diaspora. It's important.
Listen,
your history is important.
I'm
who you are is.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just got hyped for a second. Go ahead.
Who you are is important. And once you see this video, you will realize, okay, the physical chains are off, but it's imprinted in your DNA because it's coming out into the children. And I know it is because I was that child. I was that child. I would have did the same thing those children did. My child, no. Her child, maybe. But me, I was that child. But if you look at that, put it in the same content of these names that our beautiful African brothers and sisters is walking around. This is the same thing that they did to our children that you're about to watch. That's what those names are. Your name is not going to get you to God, child. You better take on these good Christian Paul, Peter, and Simon and
the carpenters.
Oh, that's the names. John's. You can't. These are the names that's walking around on this continent because the same people that have taught us this, that taught you that. Hit it, maestro.
Hit it, maestro. I'm telling you, better be careful. There's already dialogue about recolonizing that's been going around. I know King Gander, he did a thing on it, and some other YouTubers did it. So that is the mindset that is rummaging around of recolonization, and it's the same mindset. It's the same mindset. And Sister Natasha, thank you for that, because you right on point with that comment. For sure, for sure. We know for sure. All right, so let's do this. Let me play this real quickly.
Because we 30 minutes, 20 minutes over.
20 minutes over. All right, here we go. I hit it.
Which doll is the black doll? And which one is the white doll?
That one.
Which doll is the pretty doll? Which doll is the nice doll? Which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the nice doll? And which doll is the bad doll? And why is that doll pretty?
Because she's white and he has 2 eyes.
Which doll is the ugly doll? Why is that doll ugly?
Because he's black.
Which doll looks most like you?
Like me?
Yeah, which one looks like you?
And that one.
Okay.
That doll.
This is why the understanding is important. Excuse me. This is why the understanding of having the proper understanding of what this has done, what this has done. And boy, I mean, and this was 21st century. I think this was like 2016 or something like that when that was taking place and that was done. And these babies, man, they haven't even been in a social setting to experience anything for them to have a frame of reference to say that this is where they got that from. It is just something that was embedded and imprinted into them. But it's ongoing. So we have to promote our blackness, man. I just can't say it no other way. We have to embed into ourselves that we are beautiful and that we are not less than because of our skin pigmentation. And we are not less than because we come from Africa. We are not primitive. We are not, jungle bunnies. We are not spear chuckers. These are the names that they would say of Africans to us as we were growing up. you know,
We,
and
we were an African booty scratcher.
all of these crazy
Nappy head
things,
Norwegian? My mom made that.
just
mistake.
crazy stuff.
It's crazy stuff.
Look,
Anything to do with Africa had to be bad. But yet, they studied us. They looked for the strongest people on the earth. They looked for the most powerful people on the earth, the smartest people on the earth, and then went into planning on how we can convince them that we want to take them on a nice cruise ship and give them some gold. Because now that you've been captured and you're going to be our slaves, you can teach our children. You can work our fields because you're stronger than a damn horse. Because you guys are creating things over here that we want you to do over there on the land that they stole. And then they taught us that where we came from was shithole country.
I mean, it was just a division, and we can't perpetuate that divisiveness. We can't continue that. We have to find that way. And knowledge is the key. Knowledge is the key in order for us to be able to completely unify.
Unifying is the key.
But it's
The
got to be
minister said, can you imagine if we all unified, we'd be more powerful than an atomic bomb.
right, but we got to have the right knowledge.
You got to have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of who we are. All of us. We need to know the history of the people here on the continent. Of course we do. We want to celebrate it all. We want to make sure that the future generations understand that we come from a rich lineage of Africans.
And I got, man, I be trying, man. I mean, it be in my spirit, man. It's like, I'm telling you, man. I believe this, and I say this with all good intentions, but I believe this wholeheartedly. Africa will not rise to where it could be until Africa acknowledges the diaspora. It will not.
The children.
It will not reach where it needs to be until it acknowledges its lost found. We, we. It's not the Europe, it's not the West. It's not the European. We don't have the money, but we have far greater
I, mean,
than
I
anything.
was in the room with some millionaires today. We got some money.
Now, what I'm saying, this is what I'm saying as a collective. We don't have power in that sense. We don't have that,
We have this.
but we got this, and this. And all that we have acquired and having lived in the society, the benefit, we ready to bring it. We ready to bring it back and build. And so we can go on. We can go on. And rest assured, this is not gonna be the last you hear this. We're gonna keep pushing.
But let me tell y'all, Kenya is amazing.
We love Kenya.
Kenya is amazing. Kenya is a breath of fresh air. It is. And the more that we talk to people and we hear their minds and their hearts, and the lady at the lawyer that we met at our cafe, I asked her, I said, how do you feel about the diaspora coming here? She said, we rather y'all come than the other ones come. I was like, okay.
We like
she
that
said,
type of language. We like to hear
said,
stuff like that.
We have so many people in Kenya, she said, different kinds of people. We appreciate all cultures.
But
that was amazing in itself.
That's good, man. That's a humanitarian, that's how it should be. The Quran says, I made the earth spacious for you and made you into tribes that you can learn one another. That's how it should be. But not to the degree to where I have to be less than. I got to take a back seat. We can't speak in terms of diversity, but when I come to the table, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't even exist. No, we can't have that type of multiculturalism. That ain't, no, we don't have that. Especially I'm your host. You're the host. You're in my country, in my land, right? So why would I take the back seat? No, that don't sound right, right? So we have to rethink this whole thing. Look, listen, blackness. We're proud to be black African, black American, black
Black
whatever,
is the essence of
because it's
God.
the essence from which all colors come from. We are the original people of the entire planet Earth. Do your search, do your research, do your study, go as far as you can go. I guarantee you, the further you go, the more you're going to find yourself. I know it. And so there you go. I'm
Abdi
done.
said we're going through racial therapy. You know
Okay.
what? We are, because we're finally finding peace. We're finding peace. I've watched the seniors today, and the look on their face is of peace, of joy, of happiness. And these were seniors, these were Kenyans. There was a gentleman there talking about how we have to take care of our senior, our Kenyan seniors, because there's nothing in place for them. I would like to join in that program. You know, having a mom that just passed 10 months ago, and how everything was so much at ease for her, how she got to enjoy her last years. I would want that for all of our pioneers, all of our seniors. But these are the concerns of the people. And there was Black Americans, well, Black diasporans and Kenyans together, sitting down with a Kenyan gentleman that does this in office. And everyone's like, yep, we're going to work together and get this done. That's why we come here. The peace of building this country, this continent together. That's exciting.
It is exciting.
If you
That's
wa-
exciting.
if y'all want us, we don't come here to go through what we've been through.
It's not gonna happen.
Mm-mm,
No, we're not doing that.
mm-mm.
We're not doing that at all.
And ending on this note, one of the minister, Brother Ishmael said one time, and I never left me. He was talking about those that made it here from the slave trade, 400 years plus. He said,
Here meaning America.
America, he said the seeds are the best of those people. These are the best of those people. They made it, and their children made it. These are the strongest, the most determined. These are the fighters of those people. That's us. So we come back here, we come in with some stuff, utilize it, and make Africa powerful. More powerful. I'm sorry, Africa's powerful right now. Make it more powerful. But also know that Africa does not have to be your only landing place. It don't, because we're all over the world. We can't get mad if you would decide you're going to Mexico, because Budamaya found the Africans in Mexico. Can't get mad because you see them in Colombia. He done seen, he went to Jamaica and found out they more African than he is. Dude, we're all over.
We ain't
I'm
getting.
talking to Willie Maya. We all over. That's just the tip of the iceberg. So go wherever you want with the freedom and the unlocking that slave mentality and know who you are. And if you see us over here, embrace us, because we're your brothers and your sisters. We don't come with arrogance that we're better than you. We're coming really with humility. We want you to teach us, show us, help us. In return, we got a lot that we want to give you. And it's free.
We're gonna give it.
It's 2 hours. Usually my voice starts breaking down at this point.
This is one of those, just one of the things you know. This is how we live. This is just our makeup, you know. So it's all authentic. It's real. So when we talk about it, we can go on and on. This is just how, I don't know. We just love ourselves. We love Black people, wherever they may be found.
If
So
anybody know Waruru, right? Waruru. I haven't seen her in a while. I miss her
Yeah.
intellectual conversations.
Well, hopefully we'll get a chance. She'll come back on and check us out. So, all right, family. So listen, there was someone on here that said they were at the event because they was about to register with the head wrap, husband and wife. Um,
Mm.
I don't know if you saw them or
Mm-mm,
not.
I didn't see it. Let me see.
I don't know if you saw
But
it.
I do want to thank those that made donations this week, Sunday as well, Wednesday. It'd be blowing me away. I'm like, oh, they made it to do those super chats on the Wednesday video, Wednesday on our
You gotta
intimate
close out. My
moments.
phone gave out.
So wanted to thank everybody again. Again, if you are ready to get a consultation and you're trying to figure out if you want to come to Africa, if you want to just visit, if you want to relocate, hit us up at dealersrelocationservices@gmail.com and schedule your consultation. If you're ready to relocate, hopefully it's not in March or April because we booked, but anytime after that, you ready to relocate and get those steps in motion and start getting things in order, let's get the consultation in at dealersrelocationservices@gmail.com. That's my commercial.
That's our commercial. Thank you, family, as always. We appreciate all the comments. No hard feelings. But the truth got to be spoken. We got to present it as we understand and we know it. And we love is all in love. And we are grateful for the time you share with us. We went a little over, but we're grateful. We thank you so very much. So listen, enjoy the rest of your day. If you're in the States, you got a whole day ahead of you. We didn't know the time change, so we're sorry about that. So enjoy the rest of your day. Those of us on this side of the hemisphere, enjoy your evening uh, with yourself, with your family.
Do y'all
And
see the beginning of the post where it says, remember to be respectful?
that's
Y'all
all right.
going in on each other in these
It's
comments.
all good. All right, family. Thank you. Have a great week. And we look forward to giving you some more intimate conversation as well. So look forward to seeing some of that and maybe some more things. All right. Peace and blessings.